Welcome to the Chillness Room, episode 11. I am delighted by the fact that we did a Chillness day the other day I don't remember what day, but that's all right. But we did a Chillness day and I had so much fun, but I had some notes from, kind of some of the things that we were sharing. And so I just wanted to share with you one of those things, and I'll be talking about a few of these as we kind of move through our episodes here. So, the first one that I really am just going to talk about today for episode 11 is regulation. So, feeling at ease, peace in your body, effortlessness, calmness, gentleness, all of those things that if you're feeling dysregulated might hit on your ear a little bit hard, because it can be very difficult to get from a dysregulated place into a regulated place. So sometimes even hearing things like ease and peace and relaxed and calm and gentle and nurtured and effortless and all of those words that are so, to me, very delicious words. Sometimes they get a little funny when you're not in that space. So that's okay. If you're feeling a little dysregulated right now, you are completely lovable in this space. You cannot do it wrong. So just take a nice breath. And as you breathe in and out, just kind of take a nice, like a really slow out breath. Sometimes, if you know how to curl your tongue, you can breathe out through that curled tongue, and then, or you can like kind of whistle. You can whistle it out. You can do whatever you want. You can go through your teeth. Just a really slow out breath. So a nice in breath and a nice slow out breath. So you don't have to get regulated right now. You can stay dysregulated. It's okay. But if you start to notice that your body sinks a little bit in your chair or wherever you might be, and maybe your hips relax some and your lower back starts to relax, and maybe your chest becomes a little bit easier, and maybe your throat starts to soften some, that's a good thing. Just let that kind of happen. You don't have to do any of that, of course, but if you do, wonderful. I will say this, and this is the point I want to make with this program today. Regulation doesn't require fixing your life. You could take some breaths, and the circumstances of your life could still be the same. But I'm going to tell you something. It's a secret. It's not a secret. But to some of us, I know me, when I was way more dysregulated, it felt like a secret. That nothing has to be different in your life for you to start to feel better. And what's interesting, even more interesting, is this secret, is that if we start to notice that we feel better, the circumstances of our life start to shift. And sometimes it doesn't shift beautifully or easily right away, but it does happen. And sometimes it's a little bit funny. And what I mean by that is you might start to notice that some things start popping up from your past, or people start coming in from your past, or different things start happening that you're like, wait a minute, that I feel like that's already happened before. And I don't know if I feel the same way about it anymore. And, it could be, a simple thing like you notice an interaction between you and a friend where maybe you were at one time a little bit more cynical or a little bit more um, intense in your thinking about really things that seem to matter intensely in the past, but now they don't quite hit the same, and it becomes kind of interesting. So you might be talking to a friend or someone from your past, and you go, wow, well, that doesn't seem to match how I feel anymore. And then you go, oh, I don't really like feeling and being cynical, or I don't like sarcasm. Sarcasm is probably one of my least favorite things, and I've tried it before, but it just doesn't work for me. Um, partially, sometimes I don't understand sarcasm when it comes in, and then sometimes it just feels really negative and harsh. But I've tried it, and I've noticed that I'm not any good at it, and I'm not good at being around it or receiving it. So it can cause me to become more dysregulated. But in the past, when I felt more open to that kind of stuff, if I've met up with a friend that used to be that way, I would say, wow, that doesn't quite match who I am anymore. So that's kind of an example of how we feel that. And by the way, your friend isn't doing anything wrong. They just haven't really, maybe they're seeing you in the same way and you're no longer like that. And maybe they've also changed. So it's okay to back up and say, that doesn't feel as good anymore. And you can even tell your friend, if they're a great friend, they'll understand and they'll say, oh, you know what? I've actually shifted my mind on that too. And I really feel better that you're saying it, because now I feel better about not doing that either. And that could happen with all kinds of things, like if you think about, a job you used to have where really uh, you know, maybe did a lot for a company or something like that. And then all of a sudden, because you're practicing just a little bit more regulation, just a little bit better feeling place more of the time, that doesn't match with you. So you probably wouldn't work for a company that's similar to that, like a corporation, or maybe a relationship that doesn't match with your vibration anymore. So I use that word, vibration. Or you're becoming, since more regulated, things that at one time felt fun to you um, don't feel as fun anymore, because it just doesn't resonate. So, but what happens as a kind of whole piece here, just to bring it all together, is that as you're shifting, as you're becoming more regulated, as your nervous system is coming back online with better feeling things, the natural result is that you start witnessing and seeing and experiencing more and more people being happier, more loving, more open, more joyful. You start witnessing the world around you shifting. And what I think is so valuable in that is noticing it and speaking to it. My husband and I went to Subway. And I find that actually Subway is satisfying to me and it doesn't upset my stomach. Who knew? But there are other places that they just upset my stomach. Well, as I've been practicing this sense and feeling of more regulation, I we've been going to this Subway. And yesterday we went, and there was a gentleman there who was talkative, friendly, outgoing, curious. He was interested in kind of where we came from and what we were doing and how we, how we liked the town, and all these kinds of things. He talked to us about being from California, and how fun that was, and how the weather is different, and just all these things. And you think, well, it's small talk, but it really wasn't. It was something a bit deeper than that. He shared that he had ADHD, and I shared that I also shared that profile. And we talked about all different types of things, and he was just kind of sweeping up and doing his thing, and taking care of other customers and having lovely conversations with them. And so I was being a witness to his openness. I was being a witness to his kindness and his ease. And I've also been there before, where there has been just equally as much of a nice person um, that is, helping us with our sandwich, but not as talkative, but still the same positive vibration. And then there was the young man who checked us out, and he was also had a smile on his face, and he was very kind and open. And so, did I come into this environment setting it up for myself to have a lovely interaction? And I believe that that answer is yes. So even though, even though my life may not be fixed, I have a very good life. But at one point in my life was not fixed. My life was abused, tortured, in agony all the time. And a lot of that I did to myself because I didn't know that there was this idea that my life could be any different. So I had to change my focus. I had to regulate my nervous system and do the very best that I possibly could every day to see something going well. So as you see just the smallest thing, it could be that you have that nice interaction with somebody. It could be that you found a penny on the ground. It could be that, and you're looking for abundance. You're like, oh, there's money. It could be that you are wanting really improved health and you're trying to find that balance for yourself. And so you're looking then. I think a lot of people, when any kind of health issues come up, we try to find places where there's hope, where there's possibility, where people are doing well. And so instead of saying, well, I'm not doing well, so I need to look at you and you're doing well, but more so, I'm intending wellness for myself and I love witnessing the wellness in others. You see that there's a difference. Like you have it and I don't. Nope. It's, I'm looking forward to it coming into my life. And I love seeing it in others. I love the playfulness and ease of a kiddo that has the flexibility and agility of a a little crazy little monkey, and you're just like, wow, it's so cool watching how that is. And I am so interested in being that flexible for myself and that agile for myself, because what the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. So whatever you witness in others, you can have for yourself, I promise. Sometimes it takes a little work. Yeah, you might have to get some yoga going. Maybe you need to do some stretches or whatever. Or maybe there's just opportunities in that healing space that you witness in others. And you're like, oh, well, what did you do for that? And then they share that with you. So whatever it is, you aren't required to get in there and fix your life. The only thing that you're required to do, and that would be still a stretch, but to just find a better feeling place and, trust that this is a process and that you're unfolding, and know that all the good things in this world, in this life, are on their way to you. They have to be, because your mind is set now in a new direction. So trust that direction, trust your flow, trust yourself, and I'll see you again. Take care.